The battle between DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and Wilson was supposed to be the story of the year. Three veterans, three powerhouses, colliding for the ultimate prize in the WNBA Finals. But as Game 2 tipped off, the real story wasn't the matchups or the plays. It was the silence, the emptiness, the eerie sound of sneakers, squeaking on the hardwood while cameras panned across, rows of empty gray seats that once would have been packed with energy and noise. This was supposed to be Wilson's night, the reigning MVP, the face of the Las Vegas Aces, the league's crown jewel. Yet what she saw around her wasn't adoration. It was apathy. Instead of roaring crowds, there was an ocean of emptiness. Instead of flashbulbs and cheers, there was stillness so loud it was humiliating. Wilson, usually composed, couldn't hide her frustration. You could see it in the way she barked at teammates, slammed her towel, and muttered under her breath. Later, sources would reveal she turned her anger toward a name that wasn't even there, Caitlin Clark. Because deep down, everyone knew the truth the league didn't want to say out loud. When Caitlin Clark doesn't play, fans don't watch. It's not hard to see why that realization burned so deeply for Wilson. She'd spent her entire career earning her place, building her legacy through sheer dominance. But as she looked out over the hollow stands of the finals, the message was clear. The WNBA's heartbeat no longer belonged to her. It belonged to the rookie from Indiana who had redefined everything. Ticket prices told the story before anyone else did. $35 for final seats, $46, $42, whole rows available. Fans online were merciless, posting screenshots of empty sections with sarcastic captions like, "Historic moment if you can find the fans." Photos went viral faster than the game highlights. The WNBA's biggest night had turned into an online roast. Comment sections were flooded with jokes about plenty of good seats available and memes comparing finals tickets to fast food combos. The optics were brutal. Even broadcasters avoided wide shots of the crowd, quietly acknowledging what the league refused to admit. Nobody came, and in the middle of it all stood Wilson, furious and powerless. She was the face of the league, the defending champion, and yet she couldn't fill the stands. Not even close. Fans who once praised her talent had moved on to someone more exciting, more relatable, more magnetic. Caitlin Clark wasn't even in the building, yet her shadow loomed over everything. During timeouts, commentators tried to inject enthusiasm, focusing on elite defense and tactical play. But fans on social media were watching a different kind of story unfold. One tweeted, "If Caitlin Clark were here, tickets would be $300 minimum." Another wrote, "This finals feels like preseason without her." It wasn't just harsh, it was honest. Clark had turned the WNBA into a cultural moment, sold-out arenas, viral highlights, and record ratings. Without her, the league felt hollow again, exposed for how much it depended on her presence to stay relevant. By halftime, frustration had taken over. Cameras caught Wilson slamming her towel and shouting in anger. She wasn't just upset about missed shots. She was watching her moment slip away. Her body language said everything. The sighs, the stares, the disbelief that her finals, could feel so lifeless. When she spoke post-game about the lack of intensity, her words carried more pain than defiance. She wanted the league to feel alive again, but even she knew why it wasn't. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark trended online all night. She hadn't played a minute, yet her name dominated every discussion. The irony was painful. The player the league tried to humble had become its only true star, and the absence of her light made everything else dim. Fans joked that Clark had outsold the finals without stepping on the court, and they weren't wrong. What made it worse was how the league responded, or rather, didn't. Cathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, was silent. No statement, no explanation, no attempt to address the growing embarrassment. The same leader who'd proudly taken credit for the Caitlin Clark effect months earlier now vanished when the finals couldn't draw a crowd. Fans noticed immediately. "She was loud when Clark was selling tickets," one person wrote. "But quiet now that no one's watching," another joked. "Maybe the invisible fans just didn't make it through security." It was biting, but it was true. Behind the scenes, frustration rippled through the sport's higher levels. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, whose organization has long funded and supported the WNBA, was reportedly furious. Sources close to the league claimed Silver saw Game 2 as an embarrassment, not just for the WNBA, but for basketball itself. He wanted answers. How could a finals game with one of the league's biggest stars look this dead? How had years of progress unraveled the moment Caitlin Clark wasn't involved? Inside the WNBA offices, panic set in. Sponsors began asking questions. Networks demanded explanations. The finals ratings, once expected to rival last year's highs, dropped below even regular season fever games. The message couldn't have been louder. Fans weren't just skipping the finals. They were rejecting it. They were rejecting a product that felt out of touch, led by players who seemed more focused on politics, posturing and resentment than connection, humility, or growth. And for Wilson, the humiliation ran deep. She had fought to be respected, to be seen as the face of the league. But that night, staring at empty stands and hearing Caitlin Clark's name trend above her own, she faced the one truth no athlete ever wants to confront. Greatness means nothing if no one's watching. The memes didn't stop. Wilson's towel slam became a looped gif. Her angry glare turned into captions like, "Realizing Caitlin's not coming." Even fellow athletes joined the mockery with subtle likes and laughing emojis. For a player built on confidence and control, it was brutal. Her frustration, once seen as passion, now looked like insecurity. Every gesture fed the narrative that she was lashing out not at the fans, but at her own irrelevance. By the next morning, the conversation wasn't about who won or lost. It was about what the WNBA had lost: credibility, momentum, and most of all, connection. Fans who had once cheered were now laughing. Analysts who once praised parity were now talking about survival. The finals had become a symbol of everything the league didn't want to admit: that without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA still can't fill a room. Even within locker rooms, the whispers grew louder. Younger players began questioning the veterans' resentment toward Clark. They admired her discipline, her poise, her ability to lift the game without complaining. For years, A'ja Wilson and Alyssa Thomas were the standard, but now Caitlin Clark had rewritten what that standard meant. Not just talent, but humility. Not just performance, but purpose. And yet, through all the mockery and memes, one truth cut through the noise. This was a wake-up call. For the players, for the league, for everyone who had underestimated how much one rookie could reshape an entire sport. Game 2 of the WNBA Finals will go down not as a highlight, but as a warning. The league had spent years talking about equality, exposure, and empowerment. But somewhere along the way, it forgot the most important part of sports: connection. Caitlin Clark reminded the world what that felt like. And in her absence, the silence spoke louder than any buzzer ever could. So what do you think? Has the WNBA lost its way, or can it still recover from this moment of reckoning? Is it fair to say the league needs Caitlin Clark more than she needs it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've been following this story as closely as we have, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest moments shaping the future of sports.